Hey everyone, and welcome. My name's Aaron, and today we're taking a look at the Keeley Verb O Trem Workstation. Designed in partnership with Eddie Heinzelman, who's a session player in Nashville. This is one of two pedals called the Verb O Trem from Keeley. The other one's a very small, simple little stomp box. Check out my other video here about that one if you want to see that. But this is a full-featured, many different reverb, many different modulation sound box. So rather than playing for a while and then talking about the pedal, I kind of want to talk about it as we go today because I want you to kind of know what you're listening to as I play through it. So here's my clean tone today. So on the left here, you have this reverb select, and that's basically selecting your type of reverb. And we have how many? 9, 7, 8? 8 different types of reverb in this thing, which is really fun. I'm just going to go through them briefly one by one and talk about them a little bit and play them for you. Click on this reverb here. Our first mode is a 2-spring reverb, mode 1, and that sounds like this. Also, this morph knob over here does different things depending on which mode you're on. So on these spring reverbs, which is mode 1 and 2 here, the morph determines the tightness of the springs, actually. So if I turn it all the way down, versus all the way up. So mode 2 is a 3-spring reverb. Let's listen to that. All right, mode 3 is a plate. So you may have heard in this mode, there's a pre-delay. A pre-delay is the amount of time before a reverb kicks in after the dry signal. And this morph actually controls the pre-delay when you're in this plate mode. So. We better turn that off before, we're here all day, honestly. But that is delicious. Mode 4 is a hall. The morph control in this mode actually controls the tone, so brighter or darker. So all the way right is actually all the way dark. So this is dark. That was bright before. Mode 5 is a chamber. Let's hear that. This also has that pre-delay, so almost sounds like a delay because that's what it is. You're hearing the reverb a little bit after the dry signal, and because a chamber is basically like a small cement room. So it's like very lush, but also can be sort of very like short sometimes, but it's kind of a very intense sounding, warm reverb. But with this morph control, I can control the pre-delay. So if I turn it all the way down, it doesn't do that like weight thing. I've also got it kind of a small size right now. I'm gonna turn up the decay a little bit. All right, next mode, mode 6 is a room. That's really cool. That sounds like a big studio, and you've got like a condenser room mic on the other side of the room. I've got the effect level all the way up just to sort of exaggerate it, but so I've got kind of a short decay here. I've got the morph all the way down, which is I think pre-delay on this one. Yep, and then I had the effect level cranked, but turn the effect level down a little bit, so you got that direct in there as well. Cool, that's room. Next one is called Fugue. I don't really know what I'm about to hear right now, so we're gonna experience this together. You ready? Here we go, Fugue. A haunting, roomy octave thing. Morph controls the amount of, I think, upper octave. So if I turn it all the way down, we got kind of have like some lower octave. If I turn it all the way up, I still have the lower octave, but now I have an upper octave as well. Crazy. And then our final mode is slapback. My country friend Randy Odell uses an Ibanez delay to do like a little slap, and he's got it on almost all the time when he plays in his country band. I didn't know country bands, guitar players did that, but that could be a great thing for something like that. Or a rockabilly thing, slapback. So those are the reverbs. Lots of options there, guys. Crazy. Let's talk about the modulation, okay? Part 2, modulation. We've got some tremolos, we've got some vibratos, we've got a rotary speaker, and vibe. Our first mode is a sine wave tremolo, so pretty standard tremolo. And as with the reverbs, this morph control on the right here does different things depending on what mode you're in. In this mode, all the way to the right is like full sine wave type tremolo, so just super smooth. And then as you turn it to the left, it starts to emulate like a photocell tremolo, and where it cuts off the bottom half of that wave. So listen. So almost starts to sound a little bit like a square wave tremolo, which it's not, but it's like that photocell thing. Mode 2 is a square wave. The morph control in this mode controls the pulse width. So if I have it all the way to the right, basically it's determining the amount of like blank space between the waves, if that makes sense. Mode 3 is harmonic tremolo. Here we go. Love this. A harmonic tremolo, of course, splits your signal basically into low frequencies and high frequencies, and then modulates those up and down, alternating to each other. So when it's turning up the high frequencies, it's turning down the low frequencies, and vice versa. So you end up getting this kind of swimmy, almost wah-wah-wah type of sound. But it's modulating back and forth between low frequencies and high frequencies, if you listen. And then this is really fun. In this mode, this morph control changes the middle frequency, basically, between the low and the high. So listen. All right, mode 4 is dynamic tremolo. A dynamic tremolo usually is sort of controlling the depth with how hard you play. So as you turn this morph control to the right, the input will become more and more sensitive to dynamics. So if I play very softly here, maybe don't have a very high depth. But if I play hard, the tremolo kind of dynamically responds to that by increasing the depth. Mode 5 is vibrato. The morph in this mode increases the dry signal, and you'll get sort of more of a phasey sound as you turn it up. Next mode is a ramp tremolo, mode 6. The morph control on this one crossfades between a ramp up or a ramp down. And then mode 7 is a rotary speaker. And then the morph control on this one, it's kind of fun. It blends between on a rotary speaker, you have the drum, which is like a big speaker down below, which is rotating. And then you have the horn, which is a speaker above on a Leslie, like for a Hammond B3. And it basically crossfades between simulating those two speakers. So. And then mode 8 is a univibe. In this mode, the morph, if you go all the way to the left, it's basically a vibrato. And then as you go to the right, it adds the dry signal back into it, which that's what a univibe is basically a vibrato plus the dry signal. And you get the sort of weird phase relationship between those two, creates that sort of swimmy, phasey, univibe-y kind of thing. So that's it for the modulation section. And do I even have to tell you the crazy combos that we could get? I mean, let's try some here. You know, mode 1 with mode 1 here, turn them both on. We've got a sine wave tremolo with a spring reverb. How can you go wrong with that? You know what I like about that spring kind of reverb is it almost sounds like an overdrive, like the reverb itself is kind of overdriving, and when you have like a lot of mix of it, like I do right now, it almost sounds like, you know, it's overdriving. And I think amps that have spring reverb, you don't need to like, you know, change your sound quite as often, because you can just kind of dig in and the reverb starts to overdrive along with the input of the amp, and you get this sort of dynamic, fun relationship. And that's what this feels like, you know, when I play this. From subtle and springy to that. You could spend like a day with this thing. Really deep, interesting, beautiful sounding pedal from Keeley, the Verb O Trem Workstation. Check it out for yourself if you get a chance. That's going to be it from me today. We'll see you all next time.